Traditionally, broadcasting means transmission of information through radio or television. And over the years, broadcasting has gone through different changes in multimedia. And today, we stand in an era of digitalization. When you ask anybody what broadcasting means, the one thing that comes to any person's mind is the medium of visualization or moving images. And that was not the start of broadcasting. Broadcasting originally started with radio journalism, the transmission of information or news or current affairs, which has continued over time throughout many stages. And now we stand in an era of internet or digitalization or multimedia web designing web information. Broadcasting as a whole is a study of not just journalism, it's a study of entertainment as well. Over time, radio and television became a fascination or a medium of not just news but entertainment, production, adaptation as well. And I, as a broadcast enthusiast, never just didn't want to study broadcasting as an area of journalism, but I wanted to explore and study the science of broadcasting as a whole. That included commercial entertainment as well. And I took this opportunity to study the science of broadcasting as a whole in terms of journalism and commercial entertainment. And my first experience was a 6-month project I worked on for a charity called Action Against Stalking. This project was a group project which included 2 more of my friends. The project was a 6-minute video of a general outline on stalking. Filmmakers call this type of video output as performative documentaries. Journalists call this news. Psychologists call this the personal effect of broadcast science. Personal touch or personal experiences is what connects people, be it from any background or culture you are from. Your personal experience is that touch that connects people. For example, before coming to this course, I had the opportunity of working for a national entertainment industry, television and entertainment industry called Z Networks in India. And I worked for a singing reality show where for every episode we would tap in to the contestant's personal experience to make the contestant connect to the audience. So let me give you an example of that effect we had the entertainment industry had on the audience. We had this VT of a child contestant from a village who's not well to do, really poor, and he had to come to the network station for his final audition, and they had to sell all their cattle to pull in to get the money to come in for the auditions. And that was the tap effect or the personal experience effect, the emotional effect that connected to the audience. And that is the same effect that was used in this documentary. Here, the personal effect was Anne, the founder of the charity of Action Against Stalking. Her personal experience was that trigger point that made this video connect to the audience and to the rest of the world. The rest, all that followed, were just facts. In order for a performative documentary to work in a 6-minute video, there requires a hook before we go into that personal experience. There requires a theoretical standpoint. And this was difficult to achieve with people in your team who come from different backgrounds and different cultures with different ideas. Compromises have to be made in situations like this, and there were a lot of difficulties during this process of filmmaking a video or creating this video. For example, I'd say ideas. Coming from a film background, I knew what was expected of the video, and I knew exactly what I wanted for the audience to tap into the personal experiences of Anne. But then one of my teammates had a different approach. My next experience with the broadcasting, with the science of broadcasting, was working as a technical advisor for the studio lab in the university. What I learned here was the science of cultural ideas and production adaptations. Take broadcasting and as a whole, or just in a particular field of journalism, as not just as a profession or a vocation, but as a science. You'll learn a lot in terms of cultural ideas and production adaptations. What this work experience as a technical advisor for the studio lab in the university. When you look at broadcasting as a science, the format of broadcasting is the same, and wherever you go, in any country or any culture you take. If you take journalism, for example, the format of journalism is the same. The format of reality shows or reality entertainment is the same. The format of non-fiction is the same. The production formats are the same, but the way you tap in, or the cultural, the way the process, you take in the process of giving the final output is different. The cultural ideas are tweaked in a certain way that provides a solution or entertainment or a news information that is suited for that particular tribe, anthropologically speaking. So that cultural ideas is what I learned from from the work experience I had with the university. Next experience I went in was into commercial radio. I worked for a Indian community radio station, that is Awaz FM. The format here was the same as back home in India, which for the radio I love and listen to. There's 93.5 Red FM. It was the same format as the breakfast show I listened there, which is for communicating with the audience in English for the particular show and playing the songs with Bollywood Indian music. The initial approach was really difficult because I didn't know what was to be done, and I was put in a spot to co-host the entertainment section of the Saturday morning breakfast show. That was really difficult because announcements and entertainment talk or radio talk is that you have to not less but more, and it's for the ear and not for the eye. So most of the time when my host asked, when I was co-hosting with the main presenter, he used to ask me questions, and sometimes I used to nod or shake my head or show actions, and then he used to remind me that on air for the live audience that this is a radio show and it's not visual. Coming from a visual background, this was my first experience with radio, though I did a little bit of radio in the university, and that was more of bulletins, and that was a single person approach, as you had to just news read, and it was not a visual and it was not an interaction between two people. It was a new experience, and I co-hosted 3 to 4 episodes with the main presenter of the Saturday morning breakfast show, and I found myself improving over time and learning from my mistakes. I also had the opportunity of creating my own shows for one of their evening time slots, because though it was for the Indian community, and you may think we come from the same background, it may be, and culture, it will be easy, but no. If you see it from a psychological point of view and an anthropological point of view, in terms of broadcasting, these people are from India and we come from the same background. They have lived in the UK for quite some time. Throughout the years, some people have been here for generations to come, and some people are here for past 4-5 years, which means to say that they have adapted to the UK culture and the process of and their process and the way they think has been changed to adapt to that of UK. So and they have been adapted, and the way they think has been adapted to that of living to that of a person from the UK. Sorry, and the way they think has been adapted, has been changed to that of a person they are from as a person of the UK. So that was a little challenging, so because I had to go into their shoes or think in terms of a person who lived in the UK, though also UK, to present a show, but also keeping his roots and cultural aspects or cultural tribe of India, because these people are of two different cultures, and these people are in a thought of two different cultures and tribes. Sorry, yeah, these people are in a culture, are in a thought process, or in a mid gauge in terms of broadcast psychology is concerned. If you put it in simple terms of broadcast psychology, these people are in a mid gauge. So they are in a conflict of two different cultures, of that of India and that of the UK. And that of the UK. So though they adapted, and which means to say, if let me explain it and stretch for you. These people or the Indian community here have been living here for so long that they had to adapt to the culture and process on the way of thought of a UK citizen, which has changed them a lot. But they also struggle. But at the same time, they don't want to lose, and they don't want to lose their cultural roots or that of India. So they struggle to keep that. And this radio and the Indian community radio, Indian shows is one thing that ties the knot between this. So my job was recording the show or creating the show was really tough, because I had to think as a person, as a UK citizen. I had to think as a UK citizen, though I have been here. I've just come to the UK. It's not long. I've been in the UK for about 7 to 8 months. I haven't yet gotten 8 months. I haven't yet gotten a full scale of the UK culture or a true sense of what UK means. It was really hard for me to think like a person from the UK and still give a UK cultural idealistic approach or thought like the UK from UK, and still keep the cultural cultural approach of that of India, which was really difficult. So what the process I went through was really was of watching a lot of visual shows, like TV shows, and listening to a lot of radios from UK, and not just the UK, listening to a lot of radio shows and podcasts from UK, and not just UK but from other cultural backgrounds as well, and that of the United States and everywhere else, to get an aspect or tap into the cultural aspect, to tap into thoughts of a regular UK citizen, and to get that idea in and still keep my traditional approach of our culture of the roots of India in it, which was really difficult. And I came up with this show, and I came up with this magazine show called Budget with Christopher, which is like a travel entertainment, Budget with Chris, which is like a travel entertainment show where I I give people advi- advice or opinion on where they have to eat and what they can do in their spare time if they want to go for a date or everything, because or anything like that. Because if you take the cultural aspects, every culture, the main thing that binds Western culture and Indian culture is date is dating, or what you call is love. Sorry, is love or dating. So I took that into consideration with my research and my personal experience or experience effect of being a new person or a single person here in the UK, and being alone with gathering the approach of with getting to know the culture of UK and wanting the full experience of UK, of having the traditional food of UK, going to the food markets of the local food markets in UK where I live, and having the food there, and in Glasgow and everything. Glasgow, putting together that with my experiences and the incidents I have seen back home in India, and mixing them up and coming up with the entertainment show called Budget with Chris, of enjoying life with the budget you have, the with the minimum or limited budget you have, and not expecting or experiencing more. So that was my professional work experience, projects that I did with everything in terms of visual and audio for my creative industries professional practice as a part of my course, which gave me a lot of insight as into the study of broadcasting as a science and not just as a vocational course.